Hey guys, today we're in for a different kind of episode today at Criminality as I get to intertwine my love of pop culture and true crime. I recently had the pleasure of watching the show F1 Drive to Survive on Netflix. While I'm not really a fan of motorsports in general, the colorful cast of team owners, managers, drivers, and the drama that comes from their clashes on the track was way more entertaining than I would have imagined. So you haven't seen it yet, you really should check it out. Of course, you aren't here for the review of the show, and I'm not here to give one, so what the heck is this video about?
Hello and welcome to Follow the Leader. These are somewhat unusual surroundings for a politician to come back to after a hard day's campaigning. Their nice colored fountains, their Ferraris in the car garage. There's a nice private party about to take place here. Enrique Iglesias is going to be dropping in, as will Anna Kournikova. In case you haven't quite been able to guess, we are at the residence of the National Working President of the Janata Party, Dr. Vijay Mallya, and he's the person we are going to be following around for the next 24 hours or so.
Well, in the first season of the show, we're introduced to the charismatic team principal and co-owner of the Force India F1 team at the time, Vijay Mallya. The show does a good job of highlighting how much Vijay loves Force India, his strong relationship with Force India driver Esteban Ocon, as well as how much the team did in maximizing their resources in comparison to some of their bigger teams. They did touch on his financial troubles, and a hilarious bit, Vijay goes from saying he will quote-unquote not leave until the fat lady sings to leaving the team literally 3 weeks later. After that, he just kind of disappears. Of course, this is because this is a show about F1 racing, and once he is no longer in the F1 racing business, he's not the show's concern anymore. His quick exit from the show definitely left me curious about the man dubbed quote-unquote the king of good times. Here's what I found. So, Vijay was born on December 18, 1955 to Vital and Lalitha Mallya. His father, Vital, was the chairman of United Breweries Group, which is an Indian conglomerate whose core businesses include beverages and investments in various segments. Currently, they are India's largest producer of beer. During college, Vijay interned in his family's businesses, and once he graduated from college with a Bachelor of Commerce, he interned at the American part of Hosk AG in the United States. Following the death of his father, 28-year-old Vijay took over as chairman of United Breweries Group in 1983. Since then, he grew the group into a multinational conglomerate of over 60 companies and became an $11 billion business at its height. As for his personal life, in 1986, he met and married Samira Sharma, who was an air hostess of Air India. They divorced not long after, but did have one son. Afterwards, he married his second wife, Rekha, who was a childhood friend of his, and the two had 2 daughters together. He also adopted one of Rekha's daughters from a previous relationship. Currently, their relationship too has come to an end, and he is now with former Kingfisher air hostess Pinky Lawani. Vijay also had a long political career starting in 2003 until 2016 when he resigned from his post a week after an ethics panel declared that he should no longer be a member of the House, and one day before the panel was set to meet again to recommend his expulsion. In his resignation letter, Mallya said that he was shocked that the Department of Financial Services, Ministry of Finance, and Government of India had provided factually wrong information to a parliament committee, and that he was resigning because he had concluded that he would not get a fair trial or justice. It seems that the genesis of his problems began with Kingfisher Airlines, established in 2005, which was a major business venture launched by Mallya. Unlike with United Breweries Group, which he was able to lead from strength to strength for a good stretch of years, Kingfisher Airlines became insolvent and closed down in a matter of a few years. It seems that the core concept was very successful, but Vijay wanted his airline to be synonymous with luxury, and so he aggressively expanded, which left them with huge costs. When customers lost interest in the service that he was providing, Vijay chose to take loan after loan in an attempt to turn things around, but to no avail. As of 2013, it had not paid salaries of employees for 15 months and owed more than $1 billion in bank loans. By November 2015, the amount owed had grown to $1.35 billion. During this period of time, Mallya also had to at first cede control of United Breweries' flagship company, United Spirits, to global spirits giant Diageo in 2012, and in 2015 he was forced to resign as chairman of United Spirits, at which point he was contracted to receive $75 million as part of his severance package, but the courts in India have blocked the payment.
Do not pass go! Do not collect $200!
In March 2016, a consortium of banks approached the Supreme Court of India to stop Mallya from going abroad due to the pending money his companies owed them, but he had left the country before his visa was revoked by the Ministry of External Affairs on April 24, 2016. Drive to Survive actually touches on this and mentions that the only race he could attend to that year was the one in England. They also mention that it is a tough situation for Vijay to claim that he did not have any money when he was pumping millions into his F1 team. The team did end up getting bought out in August 2018 and was rebranded to Racing Point. Back in 2016, the Enforcement Directorate, which is a multidisciplinary organization mandated with investigation of offense of money laundering and violations of foreign exchange laws, reported that it had provisionally attached, which is basically a seizure of sorts to ensure satisfaction of a later judgment by the courts, millions of dollars worth of Vijay's assets in India, and by the end of 2016, they had seized over $1 billion of his assets in India and had sent letters to the US, UK, and Europe to request they assist the ED in seizing even more of Vijay's foreign assets.
In a big win for Indian banks, a London High Court has declared Vijay Mallya bankrupt, and this paves the way for a consortium of Indian banks led by the State Bank of India to recover debt from loans. They can now pursue a worldwide freezing order to seek repayment of the debt owed by the now defunct Kingfisher Airlines. Vijay Mallya's business interests ranged from aviation to liquor. His airline Kingfisher had borrowed large amounts of money from Indian banks. The move now allows the consortium of banks to seize his Indian assets. The 65-year-old fugitive businessman remains on bail in the UK. Vijay Mallya has been residing in the country for the past 5 years. The fugitive businessman fled India hours before banks had moved the Supreme Court seeking his detention. India has since been engaged in efforts for his extradition. The decision comes as the Foreign Secretary Harshvardhan Shringla had said that India has made its best case on Vijay Mallya being wanted for economic offences. He also added that the Indian government has the best assurance from the UK authorities regarding Mallya's extradition.
As it stands, Vijay is considered a fugitive in India and will be arrested if he steps foot in India. He is fighting extradition from the UK very hard, but lost his final appeal against extradition in 2020. That being said, it looks like he is now trying to stay in the UK by claiming asylum there. And there you have it. If you like this video, please like and subscribe.